Yes, it's a very worrying story, I would say. We have this ring of people planning to overthrow the government, and at the head of that group, we find a prince, Prince Henry the 13th Royce. That's his name. He's been arrested yesterday in his castle in the region of Thuringia, and he was known already by the authorities because over the years he's made, a few speeches where you could see that he was an anti-Semite, that he was actually not acknowledging the German constitution. He deems Jewish people as responsible for having overthrown the German monarchy. For example, he's also spreading theories of QAnon. So he was known by the intelligence for his views. Now, this ring that had concrete plans to overthrow the German government, they were meeting since November 2021. Dozens of people, a lot of people coming from the army, the German army, lots of Bundeswehr officers who are retired. Also, yesterday, an elite soldier has been arrested in his barracks. 150 households have been searched. 25 arrests yesterday. As of today, there's still 27 people who are suspect, who are being looked for by the authorities. So a very unsettling and disturbing story for Germany.
Yes, indeed. And, it seems this group had over 20,000 members, many of whom were happy, they say, to have used violence to achieve their aim. So this had to be taken very seriously.
Exactly. Well, it's quite a wide group. Many today in the wake of those revelations, of those arrests, say that maybe the threat hasn't been taken very seriously or seriously enough. The Reichsbürger, as they call themselves, so citizens of the empire, if you will, they don't acknowledge the German constitution. They don't acknowledge the current government. Often they are anti-Semite. I mentioned that already. Often they spread conspiracy theories, often drawn from QAnon. Also interesting is that those people, there's 1,000 of them out of those over 20,000. Well, they are violent extremists. They are known by intelligence. There's at least 500 of them who still have a gun permit, so they present an immediate danger to civil society. And also very interesting, among the people arrested yesterday was a Russian citizen, and Moscow's embassy here in Berlin denied, of course, any involvement of Russia, but it's quite interesting to see that a Russian national was also among the suspects.
Yeah, very interesting. What likely charges could result as a result of these raids and arrests?
Well, plotting to overthrow the German government is one of the most serious offenses. Those are charges of terrorism, of inner terrorism that those people face. Actually, that's quite interesting when you look at the Interior Ministry here in Germany. Every year they publish a report on the dangers faced by German society, and every year terrorism is, danger of terrorism comes from inside, from within the country, from the far right, and we're not talking about terrorism from outside.
And, this remains a big issue that the government is grappling with, this rise in far-right movements, and it's not just in Germany. A lot of it, the anger turned towards the huge level of migration that is happening still across Europe.
Well, yes, but one has to ask oneself why migration is being put forward as a danger when the most immediate danger, I repeat, it comes from inside and from the far right rather than from people coming from the outside. Now, of course, there's also terrorism coming from the outside, but the immediate danger, I highlight that, is really coming from those groups that are often quite different to investigate. But something quite interesting as well. Yesterday, Nancy Faeser, the interior minister here in Germany, said that these arrests, well, they were quite successful. They averted the coup, but that maybe now there should be more screening for people, for example, police officers, soldiers, all people who have something to do with defense, with intelligence. And the question now remains, why were those measures not taken before? How could all this network, settle and thrive for over a year before that arrest?
Yeah, so true. Have authorities said there was any evidence that these groups were conspiring with other far-right groups in other European countries?
Well, I think right now it's too early to say how deep were such ties, if they exist, but we have to remember that yesterday some arrests took place abroad. They took place in Austria, they took place in Italy as well. So we are talking at the very least about a European network already. So a network that has been thriving. We don't know if, everybody influenced in that network has been arrested. What we do know for sure is that there are still people that police is on the lookout for. So this is just the beginning. Maybe that's just the tip of the iceberg, with the authorities now saying that at least the coup has been averted, because those people, they were ready to use violence. They were meeting not just, to decide who will become minister of their principality that they wanted to establish around this prince, the figure of Prince Henry XIII. They already had this government ready to replace the democratic government in Germany, but they were also training with machine guns, with rifles, etc., to overthrow the government with the use of violence, which is the most worrying part, of course.
Indeed. Emmanuelle, really interesting to hear these details as they are emerging. Thank you so much.